Hi, and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's review for the Expanse Season 2, Episode 11, Here There Be Dragons. This video is a part of a series of videos where I review episodes of the Expanse, so I have to give a spoiler warning up to Season 2, Episode 11. If you haven't seen up to this episode, you may not want to watch this video, otherwise some things may be spoiled for you. So in last week's review, I said that I wouldn't be reviewing this episode, and that's because I planned on reviewing episode 9 of season 4 of the 100, which comes on the same night as the Expanse, but for some reason it's taking a break for 3 weeks, so I can review the Expanse instead. But I actually have a really bad cold at the moment, so this isn't going to be like a normal review. It's going to just be really quick. I just want to throw my thoughts out there really quick. So, because I liked this episode and I had a lot to say about it, I think this was a very exciting episode. Don't get me wrong, I think Season 2 of The Expanse has been amazing, it's been great, but the past couple episodes didn't leave me wondering if the ending wasn't going to be a bit of a letdown, if it wasn't going to sort of, the excitement sort of plateaued a bit after episode 5. It's still great, but not just mind-blowing amazing like the first 5 episodes were, but this episode here has me my hopes up much higher that it's actually going to end on a really high note, because this was an exciting episode. And as I said, don't misunderstand me, I love the storyline with Bobby Draper on Earth and visiting Avasarala and the whole sort of back and forth. And this, to me, I was totally not expecting this. So this is a moment where I'm actually glad that I hadn't read the books, because I totally did not see that Bobby Draper would just beat the crap out of her commanding officer and then steal the information and run over and ask asylum from Earth. That scene was amazing. Definitely one of my favorite scenes of the season thus far. I knew Draper would end up working with Avasarala. I think that part was pretty obvious from the way they were setting things up, but I didn't realize that she would go the extra mile of actually defecting to the UN, especially the way that they set up her character. In the start of the season is despising Earth and wanting to go to war with them so badly. So I had to give the season credit, even if it is based off of a really well-structured novel, just to show itself that it was able to adapt the storyline so perfectly and put it into the season so perfectly on screen, because the setup is simply amazing. That we meet Draper as this out for blood sort of warrior type and who hates Earth, and then she gets to the point of defecting to Earth, but we totally buy that journey, and it makes total sense because she trusted her team above all else and had loyalty to them, and to find out that her superiors basically killed them or just were reckless at their lives if you want to be generous, they didn't purposely kill them, but they were reckless with their lives and didn't care if they died, and used her friend's death as sort of a scapegoat. She's just not having it, and so it's so great. That scene was amazing, and I also love the stuff with Avasarala and Pierre Mal, how he's trying to. This is a great cliffhanger, and this is why I'm saying I don't think it's just this episode that's going to be exciting. This has me really excited for the final 2 episodes of the season. I think they're going to be great, because I had my worries, because in the first episode 5, that was the end of book 1, so that felt like a finale to me, so that did have me a bit worried. The season 2 actual finale is going to end somewhere in the middle of book 2, so maybe it might not feel like a real finale, but I have my high hopes that it will, even if it's not as a finality as episode 5 was. I still have my hopes it's going to end on a really high note, and this episode turned it around for me, because that cliffhanger with Avasarala and Pierre Mal meeting to discuss terms. Is it a trap? Her secondhand man thinks it's a trap, and she's like, She's going anyway. So this is amazing. I can't wait for it. And I do believe that Draper is going to be, and again, I haven't read the books, and don't tell me if you have, but I do believe that they're setting up for Draper to become another one of Avasarala's sort of agents, like that guy on the Venus ship and like her, second-hand man there. I think she's going to be another one of those. And I think it's going to be awesome because obviously they're setting up Draper for bigger and better stuff. They're not just going to have her go into obscurity. She's going to do something, and that makes the most sense for me. And then the stuff with Holden and Prax on Ganymede, that comes to a head as well, as they actually, it was interesting, we get the flashbacks on Prax's daughter, and we actually got to see how she was tricked into doing this by that doctor guy, so that was really interesting. Dr. Strickland, I think his name is. So yeah, that was good, but what was amazing was actually seeing Holden and the others actually find that doctor lady who we saw with Dr. Strickland in these flashbacks, and she's with a whole bunch of other, people who are obviously conspiring to do the proto-molecule and all that stuff. And I love situations like this. I love shows that do this now, where there's a standoff, and typically, like what you see in most shows and movies, like the cliche is when the bad guy says, "You stand down or we'll shoot you," and the good guys put their guns down. That never makes sense to me. I never really get that. I think that they should just be stubborn and be like, "No, fuck you. You put your guns down." So whenever, like Lost did this and a few other modern shows did this, but whenever they had the main character, and I love Holden's like stubbornness, like, "No, screw you. We're not putting our guns down." I love that, and I love how Prax was, maybe it was a mistake after all to give him a gun, obviously, as he was just like, "Where's my daughter?" and start shooting people, and the whole thing like explodes. It was so amazing. And then of course the parting of Holden and Naomi at the end, where she's just like, they were setting up for this nicely, where she was like not on board with the craziness that he was going through, so it makes sense that she wanted to actually work to save the lives of the people on Ganymede, because that station's about to shut down, and they want to actually get the be humanitarian, get the people off the station, whereas Holden's only concerned with the proto-molecule, finding it. And I didn't like her sort of attitude that, oh, well, the proto-molecules, there's nothing we can do to stop it. Whenever we do one thing, another thing pops up. But her attitude makes sense. Like, it totally makes sense for her character and for the story. I just personally disagree with her attitude and then on Holden's side, but I think it's great storytelling regardless. The one thing I was a bit surprised on, though, was that Amos went with Naomi, because it seems like he needed with Holden to have strong arm or whatever, but I suppose Amos has this loyalty to Naomi more than he does to Holden, and plus for this purposes of the show storyline, they need to have two main characters together, and it makes more sense. And then Prax, of course, goes with Holden. I love that. It was like Holden wanted him to go with Naomi. He's like, "Nah, screw that, I'm going with you." So that's great, and he goes off with Alex, and of course all the maneuvering Alex did to get there, that was pretty exciting as well. So yes, setting up, I think the season has been amazing. I wouldn't say it dipped in quality. Let's just say it got a tad less exciting, because it's still great quality throughout. I want to make that very clear. The whole season has been great quality, but it did sort of wasn't as like high as the first 5 episodes, but now I think they're turning it around, and it's going to be amazing. This episode was amazing. So my score out of 10 for this episode is a 9. Excellent. Love this episode. Great episode. Can't wait for the next one. And I'll be back next week with a proper review, rather than just quick spilling of my thoughts, for episode 12. So be sure to check that out. Also check out my channel for many other videos and other shows like Game of Thrones, Star Trek, The 100, and more. So be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all of that. And thanks a lot for watching.